Hello and welcome to Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, your host, Eugene Lee. In the last episode, I was talking about things that hold us back and what's holding you back. And many times it's our own thought processes. And we covered how our conditioned beliefs, the beliefs that we've had when we were younger, can hold us back in our present and our future. And I want to cover other areas in our life where there are things that are probably holding you back from taking action on things you want to achieve or taking the next step in your career. So today I want to talk a bit about confirmation bias and what confirmation bias is and how we can minimize the effect that confirmation bias may have on our lives and ways to overcome that bias. As always, you can reach out to me. We can have a chat at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com. You can book a call with me, or you can DM me, send me a voice note on Instagram at eugene.leeway, or shoot me an email, eugene@leeway.ie. Thank you, and I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode about what's holding you back, confirmation bias. First of all, what is confirmation bias? If you haven't heard of it before, this is our natural tendency to take in new information and use it to confirm a belief system that we already have. Our brain works hard to make this information fit to our belief system. So sometimes we'll even twist or ignore parts of what we've just learned to avoid having to question that belief system we already have. One clear example of confirmation bias is in a football game or any sports game where you have two teams competing, and anyone onlooking, any spectators, they're going to have a different view of what's a skillful play, what's a foul, or anything, any call the ref makes. They're going to have completely different views depending on which team they're following. If with their confirmation bias, what they believe is skillful play or what they support in their belief system. And this can not only happen in sports, it can happen in any area of your life, be it in religion, politics, your conditioned beliefs you've had as a child, in terms of finance, in terms of personal well-being and health, how you deal with your emotions. Your belief system has a way of interpreting different evidence in a way that that supports the belief system that you've grown up with. And many times when we even actively seek information to try and reinforce our belief system, there's this motivated reasoning. When we stack information, we tend to twist it a little bit and surround ourselves with people who have a similar belief system to us. And you definitely see this in religion or in politics a lot, where, and especially keyboard warriors online, they're going to rally together for a particular belief that they have. And the way they interpret information, especially across the media, it can be very biased in terms of trying to support what your belief system is. And this goes even deeper. If you look into, there's a technical term in the brain called the RAS, which is the reticular activation system. So when you're constantly bombarded with information, you tend to filter out the things that support your belief system. So they're the only things that you become aware of. And this is kind of a way of your brain trying to filter out, instead of processing all of that information, that it's only going to process what reinforces or supports that belief system. So whatever you hold as a belief or whatever you desire your life to be, whatever's in your laser focus, that's what your RAS, that's what your reticular activation system seeks out for, with all the millions of tidbits of information that is being thrown at you daily. Now, if your belief system does not support your goals that you feel you're setting, that you feel that it's holding you back, that your belief system has always been around, oh, I will never be able to achieve this because of this in my past, or this is the way things have always been done, I won't be able to change that. You can overcome that bias. Because I think there was this study, I think it was done by Carol Dweck, and it was about how people who are willing to change their beliefs, if their goals are clearly defined enough, they can change their belief system if it helps to support their goals or a motive that they're working towards. So, for example, maybe you've always been overweight and you're like, oh, I can't change this. Maybe it might be your belief system. This is the way things have always been. I've always been this unhealthy. But there comes a turning point where like, oh, I need to lose this weight if I want to to protect my health, my health and well-being, to become more active and actually live the quality of life that I want. And if you have a clearly defined goal and motive to lose that weight and get healthier, then you can change that belief system. And it might take small steps over time, but you change that belief system to work towards that goal. So there is ways of overcoming that bias, and the same can be done in your personal life, be it fitness, be it career, be it your finances, be it your family and relationships. You can change that belief system over time if you have a clearly defined goal and motive. Again, this changes your RAS, it changes your belief system over time. It's all about putting the small steps in place. Now, what other ways can you help to maybe change your belief system or change that confirmation bias and become more aware of that bias? And one of the best ways is to have a wider range of sources. The media that you may be exposed to all the time may just be supporting your belief system. And I think you just need to challenge that bias. So I try and have a diverse range of media that you're exposed to, that you look at, and not always going to the same magazines, websites, or people for advice and information. That you create a more diversity in your life, the people that you expose to and get feedback from, and not take everything as fact. Even the thoughts that we have in our head that we take as truth, not all of them are true. They're they're reinforced by our belief systems and the conditioned beliefs and the confirmation biases that have been passed down by people who have influenced us and people in our immediate environment. And a good way of training yourself not to always go on your own biases is to kind of play the devil's advocate on yourself and just question your own biases and beliefs. So, for example, challenge yourself to think about your own assumptions and your own beliefs in a completely different way, and keep on telling yourself, what if I'm wrong about that? What if there's another way? What if this isn't the right way? And you challenge yourself and have that discussion, to have that conversation with yourself, not always doubting yourself, not always filling yourself with self doubt, but just being curious and open. What if there is another way? One of the biggest weaknesses is if we always want to be right. And naturally, people do want to be right all the time because it validates their position and their confidence. But how can you, if you're right all the time, how can you be open to change in your life and open to growth? So many times when we want to create that change in our lives and we want to have that breakthrough through whatever challenge that comes our way, and get over whatever's holding us back and find out how to fix that problem, we need to ask the right questions. And now I've said this before, sometimes when you ask the right questions, like you already have the answers, you've just been avoiding the right questions. And sometimes you hear the right questions and you just don't want to answer them, because once you answer them, you become aware of some of the most uncomfortable and painful things in your life, in your current situation, that need to change. And by making yourself aware of them, you're activating them in your reticular activation system. The RAS has now triggered to look for those changes, that awareness in your environment. So don't ask yourself if something is possible. Instead, ask yourself, how do I blank? And by starting the question with how to, as opposed to saying, I don't know if this is possible, or is it possible to, by asking yourself how to, you tell your mind that it is possible. and all you need to do is seek the solution. So I hope I kept this short and snappy and concise as much as possible. And if you feel that you're overcome by your confirmation bias, or you feel that maybe it's confirmation bias or your conditioned beliefs that are holding you back, and maybe you want to increase your awareness and find out how to overcome them and get that breakthrough that you're looking for, let's just book a call. Let's have a quick chat and talk through it. You can book that call at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com. Just hit that button, book a call. I'll leave the link here in the show notes too. Or send me a voice note or DM on Instagram, eugene.leeway. Or as always, you can always shoot me an email, eugene@leeway.ie. I really look forward to talking to you. Until next time,